The War of 1812, a defining chapter in the young history of the United States. It was a time of immense challenge, testing the nation's resolve and shaping its destiny. This wasn't just a war fought on distant battlefields, it was a struggle for freedom, for respect, and for the right to chart one's own course. The embers of revolution, still smoldering from the fight for independence, were fanned into a roaring blaze once more. At the heart of the conflict lay a complex web of grievances. Britain, embroiled in its own conflict with Napoleon's France, sought to maintain its dominance on the seas. American ships and sailors became pawns in this struggle, often seized and impressed into the service of the Royal Navy. The cries of American sailors unjustly taken from their homes and forced to serve a foreign power echoed across the Atlantic. Adding fuel to the fire were trade restrictions imposed by Britain, crippling American commerce and fueling resentment. These restrictions, coupled with British support for Native American resistance along the western frontier, further inflamed tensions. For many in America, the War of 1812 was seen as a second war of independence, a fight to truly break free from the shackles of its colonial past and establish itself as a sovereign nation. On June 18, 1812, the United States, its patience exhausted and its pride wounded, declared war on Great Britain. The young nation, barely 3 decades old, once again took up arms against the world's mightiest empire. The fight ahead would be arduous, fraught with danger and uncertainty. Yet it would also be a crucible from which a stronger, more unified nation would emerge. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel for more historical tales. The War of 1812 was fought on land and sea, with battles raging across a vast expanse. From the Great Lakes region to the Atlantic coast, the young nation found itself locked in a bitter struggle against a formidable foe. One of the key figures swept up in the tide of this conflict was Francis Scott Key, a young lawyer and poet. His path would intersect with history in a way he could never have imagined, leading to the creation of a song that would forever be woven into the fabric of American identity, the Star-Spangled Banner. Key's journey began with the capture of Dr. William Beanes, a prominent physician and friend, by the British. Beanes was accused of being an enemy sympathizer and taken prisoner aboard a British ship. Determined to secure his friend's release, Key, along with Colonel John Skinner, set out under a flag of truce to negotiate with the British. However, their mission took an unexpected turn as they found themselves detained aboard a British ship during the bombardment of Fort McHenry. The British, having already captured Washington, D.C., and burned key government buildings, including the White House and the Capitol, now set their sights on Baltimore, a strategic port city. Fort McHenry, guarding the entrance to Baltimore Harbor, became a focal point of the British attack. It was here, amidst the deafening roar of cannons and the terrifying spectacle of exploding bombs, that Francis Scott Key would witness an event that would forever etch itself into his memory and inspire him to pen one of America's most enduring patriotic anthems. Dr. William Beanes, a well-respected physician residing in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, found himself caught in the crosshairs of war. The conflict between Britain and the United States had cast a long shadow over the land, dividing communities and turning neighbor against neighbor. When British troops marched through his town, Beanes, known for his kindness and compassion, offered medical aid to both British and American soldiers, upholding his oath to alleviate suffering regardless of allegiance. However, Beanes's actions, perceived by some as sympathetic to the British, aroused suspicion. Accused of treason, he was seized from his home and taken prisoner. The news of Beanes's capture spread through the community, reaching the ears of Francis Scott Key, a prominent young lawyer and friend of the doctor. Key, known for his eloquence and patriotism, was deeply troubled by the news. Determined to secure his friend's release, Key set out on a perilous mission, venturing into the heart of enemy territory. Armed with his sharp wit and unwavering resolve, Key sought permission from President James Madison himself to negotiate Beanes's release. The president, recognizing the gravity of the situation, granted Key his request. Accompanied by Colonel John Skinner, a former prisoner of war who had been exchanged, Key embarked on a tense journey under a flag of truce to meet with the British. Their destination, the British fleet, anchored menacingly off the coast of Baltimore. As Key and Skinner approached the British fleet, the magnitude of the task ahead became all too clear. Towering warships, bristling with cannons, loomed before them, symbols of British naval might. The air crackled with tension, the uneasy truce a fragile barrier between two nations at war. Allowed on board the flagship HMS Tonnant, Key and Skinner found themselves face-to-face with Vice Admiral Alexander Cochrane, commander of the British fleet. Cochrane, known for his ruthlessness, listened intently as Key presented his case for Beans's release. He argued that the doctor's actions were purely humanitarian, driven by his medical oath, not by any allegiance to the British crown. Cochrane, however, remained unconvinced. While he acknowledged Beans's good deeds, he also possessed intelligence suggesting the doctor's involvement in the detention of British subjects. As a result, Cochrane agreed to release Beans, but only after the planned attack on Fort McHenry. Key and Skinner, their mission only partially successful, found themselves reluctantly caught in the throes of war. Confined to their own vessel under British guard, they bore witness to a terrifying spectacle, the relentless bombardment of Fort McHenry. For 25 hours, the British fleet unleashed a fiery storm of rockets and bombs, illuminating the night sky with an eerie, pulsating glow. Each explosion sent shockwaves through the air, a constant reminder of the deadly power unleashed upon the fort. Section 5, and the rocket's red glare, a night of fear and awe. Through the long night, Key paced the deck of the ship, his heart pounding in his chest. The relentless barrage continued, each blast shaking the vessel and illuminating the faces of those on board with an unsettling, flickering light. The air grew thick with smoke and the acrid smell of gunpowder, a constant reminder of the destruction raining down upon Fort McHenry. Fear gnawed at the edges of Key's hope. He had witnessed firsthand the might of the British Navy, and he knew the defenders of the fort faced a daunting task. As the hours dragged on, Key's thoughts drifted to his friend, Dr. Beans, still held captive aboard the British ship. He wondered if Beans, too, could hear the thunderous roar of the bombardment. If he, too, felt the same mix of dread and awe. Sleep was impossible. The night was a cacophony of explosions, punctuated by the occasional shouted order from the British officers and the creaking of the ship as it rocked gently on the waves. The sight of the rockets, soaring through the night sky with their fiery tails, left an indelible mark on Key's memory. These were not the muskets and cannons of a traditional battle, they were weapons of a new and terrifying kind, raining down destruction from afar. The British, it seemed, had unleashed a new era of warfare, one marked by long-range bombardment and indiscriminate destruction. Section 6. Dawn breaks, a banner still waves, inspiration strikes. As dawn broke over the Chesapeake Bay, an eerie silence descended. The bombardment, which had raged throughout the night, ceased as abruptly as it had begun. The air, thick with smoke and the lingering scent of gunpowder, gradually cleared, revealing a scene of both devastation and unlikely triumph. Fort McHenry, battered and scarred but unbroken, still stood, and above its ramparts, illuminated by the first rays of the rising sun, flew a sight that sent a surge of emotion through Francis Scott Key, the American flag, still waving defiantly. That sight, the sight of the American flag, the symbol of their fledgling nation, still flying after a night of relentless assault, stirred something profound within Key. In that moment, amidst the wreckage and the smoke, he found a glimmer of hope, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of overwhelming odds. It was a moment of profound inspiration, one that would crystallize into words that would resonate through the ages. Reaching for his notebook, Key began to scribble down the verses that poured from his heart. He wrote of the terrifying beauty of the bombardment, the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, a vivid description that conveyed both the awe-inspiring power of the attack and the sense of dread it inspired. But most importantly, he wrote of the flag, the Star-Spangled Banner that had endured the night, a beacon of hope and a symbol of the nation's unwavering spirit. Section 7, From Poem to Anthem, The Legacy of the Star-Spangled Banner. Key's poem, initially titled Defense of Fort McHenry, captured the hearts and minds of a nation yearning for a symbol of unity and strength. Printed in newspapers and distributed as handbills, the poem spread like wildfire, its words resonating with Americans from all walks of life. The image of the flag surviving the night became a powerful metaphor for the resilience of the young nation, its spirit unbroken despite the challenges it faced. Set to the tune of a popular British drinking song, To Anacreon in Heaven, Key's words found new life as a song. The melody, familiar and catchy, helped solidify the poem's place in the American consciousness. The Star-Spangled Banner, as it came to be known, was sung in taverns and theaters, at public gatherings and private celebrations. It became a rallying cry, a source of comfort, and a powerful expression of national pride. Over the decades, the Star-Spangled Banner transcended its origins as a wartime poem and evolved into something more profound, a national anthem. Its words, imbued with the spirit of resilience, courage, and unwavering patriotism, resonated with each passing generation. From sporting events to political rallies, from school assemblies to moments of national remembrance, the anthem became an integral part of American life. Section 8. The Treaty of Ghent and the War's End, a new era for America. While the Star-Spangled Banner captured the spirit of national pride and resilience that emerged from the War of 1812, the conflict itself ground to an end not with a resounding victory, but with a negotiated peace. On December 24, 1814, representatives from the United States and Great Britain signed the Treaty of Ghent in the neutral city of Ghent, Belgium, officially ending the war. The treaty, reflecting a mutual desire to end the costly and increasingly unpopular war, essentially restored the status quo ante bellum. Territorial boundaries remained unchanged, and issues such as impressment of sailors, a key cause of the war, were not explicitly addressed. However, the very act of negotiating a peace on equal terms with Great Britain, the world's most powerful nation at the time, represented a significant victory for the United States. The War of 1812, though indecisive in its immediate outcome, had a profound impact on the young nation. It solidified American independence, proving to the world that the United States was a force to be reckoned with. The war also fostered a sense of national unity and purpose, uniting Americans from different regions and backgrounds in a common cause. This newfound sense of nationhood would have a lasting impact on American identity and shape the course of the nation's development for generations to come. Section 9. The Enduring Legacy, Shaping American Identity and Patriotism. The War of 1812, often overshadowed by the American Revolution that preceded it and the Civil War that followed, nevertheless holds a unique place in American history. It was a war that tested the young nation's resolve, forged a stronger sense of national identity, and inspired one of its most enduring symbols of patriotism, the Star-Spangled Banner. From its origins as a poem penned by Francis Scott Key during a moment of national crisis, the Star-Spangled Banner evolved into an anthem that transcended its wartime origins. Its words, imbued with the spirit of resilience, courage, and unwavering patriotism, served as a powerful reminder of the ideals upon which the nation was founded. The story of the flag, surviving the bombardment of Fort McHenry, became a powerful metaphor for the strength and determination of the American spirit. Today, over 2 centuries after the War of 1812, the Star-Spangled Banner continues to evoke a profound sense of national pride and unity. Its words, sung at sporting events, graduations, and moments of national remembrance, serve as a powerful reminder of the sacrifices made to secure American freedom and the enduring ideals that continue to bind the nation together. The legacy of the War of 1812 and the anthem it inspired serves as a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit and the capacity for courage and resilience even in the darkest of times. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.